If you want to achieve extraordinary results in your private life, in your friendships, in your love life, in your career, in your business, there's one thing that you have to do that you can do like this. And with this said, hi, this is Alex. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you decide to invest your time into something worthwhile, into personal education and personal development, not some other crap that is out there on YouTube. Because I just had a very interesting conversation with my girlfriend. Right now it's 11:30 at night. I'm in Bulgaria, sitting on a balcony, and I want to share this little thought experiment with you, this little epiphany actually. So I remember that a couple of years ago, I first found the concept that I want to share with you today, which is your story. The story that you tell yourself. Because we all have a self-image, right? We all have an image of ourselves that we think we are. We think we are like this, we are maybe very confident, very bold, maybe we are shy, maybe we are an entrepreneur, maybe we are successful, maybe we have a poverty mindset, maybe a prosperity mindset, maybe we think of ourselves as somebody who is healthy and fit, or maybe as somebody who doesn't work out, who doesn't like to work out. And I talked to my girlfriend and she just said out, yeah, that's why you are Alexander the Great. And my heart skipped a beat for a second, because I remember this thing I did a couple years ago where I went through an exercise that I think I first learned it from Tony Robbins, where he says, well, take the story that you tell yourself right now and write it down. Just write it down. And then give this guy a name. Preferably a name that you don't really like. Preferably a name that you don't associate success or self-esteem or fulfillment with. So just give him a name. I'm not going to tell you how I called mine. And then write down a second story that you actually want to be like, that you want your life to be like, and then give this guy a name. I did this a couple years ago. I did it a couple times actually, and the story changes all the time, right? And guess what the name was of the guy of the new story? Yeah, Alexander the Great. It may sound very trivial to you. Well, okay, you changed your story, you wrote down a different story, and you gave this guy a name. Yeah, but here's what I did. I reminded myself of this every day. However, I forgot the name that I gave myself. And when she reminded me of this, I actually looked up my goals that I set for myself during the last couple of years, and especially the goals that I set at the beginning of this year and December of last year, December 2016. And I noticed I had 4 one-year goals for 1 year. And they all came true. They all came true in 6 months or less. And this blew my mind because I didn't think about this anymore. And this happened a couple of times to me already in the past, that I changed the story, I changed the goals that I want to achieve, and I give this guy a certain name. I literally get rid of my old personality, my old story, and slowly, gradually, day by day, this new story becomes a part of you. And here's the great thing about this. It's a process that we don't have to focus on consciously, because once we set this process in motion, once we decide, well, this old story, I don't like it, it's boring, and just look at the name, it must be a loser, right? We don't want to be like this. So we remind ourselves a couple of times that we are this new guy. For me it was Alexander the Great, as cheesy as it may sound, Alexander the Great, but for me this had a very emotional impact. And over time this guides your decision making. This guides your decisions. One thing I always like to refer to is Gary Vaynerchuk. He always pushes the concept of patience, because he basically does a similar thing with this, right? When you focus on patience, when you focus on the long-term thing, you're actually focusing on your story, on the story you are telling yourself, the good story you're telling yourself, not the shitty one that you used to tell yourself. And by this, your actions start to change. You start to make decisions on a different basis, on a more long-term basis and more story-based basis, because you don't want this instant stuff, right? You focus more on the story, the long-term thing. And here's my thought to you. Well, when did you last check your story. What kind of story are you telling yourself? Maybe you are still going to school. What kind of story are you telling yourself? Maybe you are an entrepreneur and you already built a business and now you're stuck at a certain stage. What story are you telling yourself? Because this is something I had myself in the past as well, where I reached a certain level of success, of financial success. For me, it was 5,000 euro per month, where I decided, well, this is it. This is where the furthest I can go, and I struggled at this part for a long time. And I have it with a lot of clients as well, that basically they know what to do, they know what to do in business. I mean, I'm not a business coach, right? I'm not gonna go there to change this metric, change this metric, and this. No, I am focused on the psychology. And we notice, well, he knows what to do. He knows the next steps, because we mostly know. He's just telling himself a really shitty story that this is the most he can get, or he's telling himself some kind of story that doesn't give him any strength or resourcefulness. Or maybe you are in university and you have a certain average grade, and you think to yourself, well, this is as good as it gets. Well, if you tell yourself this story over and over again, this actually becomes true, right? If you tell a lie long enough, loud enough, and often enough, people will start to believe it. Well, same with us. The story we tell ourselves will become true. It will become true, because this changes our whole psychology. It shapes our whole psychology. It shapes our emotions. It shapes our actions. If we think of ourselves like somebody, well, this is just who I am. I can't change. This is just who I am. I mean, this is my character. Then we can't change as well. And a metaphor I always like to refer to is role plays. A thing that I used to play when I was 15, 16, 17 years old were a lot of computer games, and especially role play games like, what did I play? I played the Gothic series, I played a little bit of World of Warcraft and stuff. And here's the thing as well, your character changes over time as well, right? He learns different skills, he leaves certain things behind, and you decide during the game where you want to go. Maybe you want to change your path, maybe you want to take on the mission or not, maybe you take more the good road, the bad road. This is how life works as well. We all have certain strengths, certain weaknesses, and we can decide which of them we apply where and what story we want to write ourselves. We are basically writing our own screenplay, our own TV series, our own movie. And do you want to be the main character, or do you want to be somebody who can just, he's playing some role in the background and who you can switch out and change all the time? It's all dependent on your story that you tell yourself. Because basically everything we do, I say basically a lot, I just noticed, because everything we do is guided by our psychology, and our psychology is guided a lot by the story that we tell ourselves. So please do this exercise. If you have the time right now, please do it. Or if not, just take it. Take the time. It takes maybe 30 minutes. Write down the story that you're telling yourself, and with all the good and the bad parts. And then give this guy, this girl, a name that you don't really like, a name that you associate somebody with that you don't like. And then write down your new story. What do you actually want to be like? What does it actually want? What does this story look like? And give this guy a name, or this girl. And then remind yourself about this. Read this story 7 days a week, or at least the first 7 days. After this, it becomes ingrained. And disregard the old story. Ask yourself during the day, hey, am I a person? Am I the old story? Or am I acting like the new story right now? And I'm just going to share with you a couple things of the story that I changed 8 months ago, or 7 months ago, at the end of last year. I told myself, well, I want to work internationally, which I'm doing. I want to make a certain amount of money, which I did a couple months ago already. I want to have a beautiful girlfriend, which I have. I want to have a certain business mentor, a certain business partner, which I have right now. I want to be able to travel the world, which I did before a little bit, but I only want to travel the world, right? I left Germany for good, and right now I'm mostly traveling Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Austria, Bulgaria, Russia, and the United States a couple times, Florida. And a lot of this became true, and I didn't consciously think about it. It happened step by step, since I remind myself of the story again and again. And this happens with clients a lot as well. Clients often very confused because they think I'm going to give them these huge tactics and techniques. But basically, we're working 99% on their psychology because your psychology is everything, right? I mean, you can't run a business if your psychology sucks. You can't run the business, even if you have the best techniques and the best systems ever and the best team ever. If your psychology is off, if your emotions are off, if the story you're telling yourself is off, won't work. I mean, imagine this: you have a team of a couple people and something goes horribly wrong, and your story is, well, sure, bad stuff always happens to me. Guess that's why I'm always stuck at this level. Then you will act very differently than if you would tell yourself the story of, well, I'm a problem solver. There we go again. Time for me to solve something again. Awesome. A little different story, just by a little bit, but hugely different results, hugely different actions, drastically different. And this is how it is in every area of life, right? Maybe you are not that successful in your dating life right now. Well, what kind of story are you telling yourself? Because look at the shitty stories that people tell themselves. Well, all the good ones are taken, or no one likes me. Of course, no one likes me. Or I always get the bad ones. Well, duh. If you're telling yourself this, you will attract these people as well, because it's not like, oh, law of attraction, woohoo, the universe will give it to you. No, it's more like your attitude changes, your emotions change, your characteristic changes, your actions change, and by telling yourself this really shitty story, you maybe not even recognize that somebody likes you. You won't walk up to somebody that you like because you think to yourself, well, somebody like this won't like me anyway. But on the other hand, when you're somebody that's yourself, I'm a lovable person, I'm a confident person, I have no problem with walking up to people, or maybe it scares me, but I still do it because I'm brave, then your actions will change as well. Or maybe financially, maybe you tell yourself, well, I'm just poor. This is just it, I will always live in poverty. Guess what? You will ruin your financial situation again and again. If you tell yourself, well, it was possible for other people to become financially free, so why not for me? If I just work out, if I do the right stuff, if I educate myself, which you're doing right now, right? So kudos to you, congrats, really, that you're investing your time into something like this, not some bullshit. Then you will act differently, you will think differently, you will have a different kind of charisma, you will attract different people, you will act differently on a day-to-day basis. And this all starts in your psychology, and your psychology is hugely influenced by the story that you are telling yourself. So I think the point is, I made the point, sit down, write down your story that you're telling yourself, look at the stuff that you don't like, then write a new story. What do you want your life to be like? What do you want your character to be like? And then give these two girls a name, disregard the old one, and take the new one. Read it every day for a couple days, and then always ask yourself, well, am I person A? Am I acting like person A right now, or like person B? Or how would person A react and how would person B react? And then you decide for yourself. Maybe you see a beautiful girl or a guy that you like. Well, my old self wouldn't talk to him or her, but my new self would. Maybe you know that there's a certain business opportunity. You ask yourself, well, what would they do? Oh yeah, person A, the old one, wouldn't do shit because he thinks of himself, or she thinks of himself that he's not worthy of this. Person B, however, well, he or she is bold enough to just do it and to be consistent enough. Maybe you struggle with going to the gym every day or eating healthy. Well, okay, what would they do? Person A would eat crap, would eat chips every day and don't work out. Person B, however, would do it, even if he doesn't feel like it, because he or she has discipline. He has discipline. He's brave. He or she is bold. He or she is consistent. So please, sit down right now, change your story. But before you do this, one more thing. If you want to get an email with the best resources, the best tips, the best knowledge, the best techniques, and the best psychological mindsets for your personal and your professional success, click up here on the info box or the first link down below in the description box. There you can sign up for my newsletter and you get a very interesting bonus. So sign up right now and tell me what you like about this video. Did you like it? What's your story? What do you want to hear more about on this channel? Write down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this, and of course subscribe. Sure, there's more coming every week, maybe, I don't know from which country next time. So I'm signing out for today. It's late already. I'm gonna get another hour of work done, then go to sleep. Thank you for giving me your attention. Thank you for investing your time into something worthwhile, into your personal education, and not some, I don't know, some random stuff on YouTube. You are one of the guys and the girls who are actually, yeah, working on themselves, which is awesome. So let's share this. See you. Bye.